Well, it's that time again when Rockstar rolls out some bonuses on the taxicab work in order, I'm guessing, to foster a little more activity and a little more interest. This week they're throwing 3x money on the taxicab service, so today I'll be grinding out an hour's worth of taxicab work just to see how much money can be made with triple money since the recent payout increase. So, for some unknown reason, Rockstar tends to be aggressively getting us to love on the taxicab work. If you're new to GTA, or perhaps you've stepped away for a while, Rockstar introduced a taxi work in January of 2023. Soon after its release, the consensus amongst players, including myself, was slightly negative. Okay, maybe a lot negative. Although the work was refreshing and new, the payouts for completing fares and the frustrations of having to drive a taxi around the roads of Los Santos were just not worth it. Over the next several months, Rockstar, I'm sure, realized this and began throwing some outrageous bonus money at us. About 2 months ago, they were giving us 4x money taxi work, and before this, roughly, I think 8 months ago, Rockstar was giving us 5x money on the taxicab work. I made videos on both to determine just how much can be made in 1 hour, but suffice it to say, in both cases, this was still not enough to move the needle. At least for me. Then, a few weeks ago, Rockstar came to their senses and finally buffed the whole payout for the taxicab work, which was one of the main pain points everyone had. This was welcome news for everyone, but did it move the needle enough and create the interest and activity Rockstar was hoping for? Well, I think this week they're about to find out, because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who are very curious about how much money can be made after the new buff, and with it now being triple money this week. So without further ado, that's exactly what I'll be testing today. As I mentioned earlier, I'll be performing 1 hour's worth of taxicab work to see just how much of a payout you can expect to receive. But before I get to the payouts, I want to briefly discuss the strategy I'll be using and some pain points I've found while doing this work. Firstly, I will be traveling the roads as much as possible, meaning I'm not going to stray way off course. We're driving my taxi across mountains and through backyards to save time. Secondly, I'll be using the free of charge cab located at the downtown cab company. I'm doing this to represent all players, including the new player who may not have access to either a player-owned taxi, the Broadway, or the Eudora. As far as pain points, for me, there's really only two. The first I've mentioned many times in my videos, and that's the frustration of driving on roads in this game. It seems like every time I log in, the traffic aggressiveness seems to have gone up a notch or two. I brought this up in my last video, but because of this, it's one of the reasons I enjoy the pizza delivery missions that much. When you're riding a motorcycle, it's a little easier to dodge the other vehicles on the road. But when you're driving a car, especially a crappy handling and poor performing taxi, this aggressiveness gets exasperated. It's just not fun. The second pain point is more of an inconvenience. If you perform any taxi work, you'll soon realize that when you reach the destination point for your fare, the customer will not shut the door. Similar to flying the Velum to Cayo, Rockstar has this crazy fetish for not shutting vehicle doors. It doesn't sound like it's too big a deal, but when you're driving around with the door always flapping around, it gets a little annoying and distracting. You can easily fix this by swerving back and forth to shut it yourself, or simply wait until it gets chopped off by a passing vehicle or a lamppost. Either way, very annoying. Alright, let's get to the important stuff. Rockstar just gave the taxicab service a buff, they're giving us triple money all week long, and you finally decided to sit down and give this whole taxi shtick a go. Well, if you're planning on struggling through this for 1 full hour, you can expect to earn, drum roll please, approximately $217,000. And I never thought I'd be saying this, but this isn't entirely that bad, all things considered. If you notice, this amount came via completing 18 fares, which, if you do the math, works out to a little over $12,000 per fare. Now, obviously, this is just an estimate because you won't be getting the tip amounts after 1 or 2 fares compared to after, say, 10 or 12 fares. But this is, dare I say, pretty decent money. Now, there is a couple of things to point out here before you start selling your Kasaka to buy a cab. First, it's a triple money bonus week. If I divide this total by 3 for a normal week, you're only looking at around $72,000, which for one full hour's work is still a pretty big joke. Disappointment, slap in the face, you get the point. Secondly, even at the triple money bonuses, $217,000 for an hour's work is not really that impressive. There's still a bunch of other money-making tasks in this game you can do that will net you a lot more. All this being said, though, if you're a newer player just starting out, or you simply want a different change of pace from the usual headache-induced activities in this game, I would recommend taxi service this week. Again, I never thought I'd be saying this, but after Rockstar finally gave this service a buff and added 3x money on top of this, yeah, the taxi service, at least for this week, is definitely something you should try out. Now, if we play a little what-if storyline, if somewhere down the road Rockstar brings back 4x or 5x money on the cab service, well, things will get a little more interesting. At 4x the money, again, these are all just estimates based off of today's work, but if Rockstar brings back 4x for taxi service, we're looking at roughly $289,000 for an hour's work. And if they brought back 5x money, this works out to, again, approximately $361,000. Yeah. Not bad, huh? Definitely would make things a lot more interesting in your money grinding endeavors. Alright, so that's it, my friends. Thank you for watching. As always, if you like this video and want to help out, please subscribe, give a thumbs up, and let me know what you think. Is a new buff and triple money going to be enough for you to climb aboard a taxi this week? If so, drop a comment below and let everyone know. Until next time, be happy, be well, be safe, be mighty, be the one Maestro.